Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, be sure you like and subscribe. Today we're going to be talking about Raw, June 30th from Pittsburgh. It was a good show. Some of the matches I did like. The other stuff, I really didn't care about. Rhea Ripley opened up the show, and Io Sky interrupts her. Now we have Rhea versus Io at Evolution, which should be a great match. They always do pretty well together. That's why I wanted Asuka to win Queen of the Ring, so that way she would face Io at some point, because they have history. It'd be a great match. And then the Dom and AJ thing was entertaining as usual. They're both super entertaining, so anytime they're on screen, I like to watch them. And them together is pretty good. That brings us to the Judgment Day versus the New Day for the belts. Judgment Day picks up the win. Their new music is terrible. I don't like it. They need to go back to Alter Bridge. And the match was decent. It's pretty much what I expected it to be. And then you got Bayley and Lyra, they got into it, so they had a match later. And then they did the whole Goldberg, vignette and stuff like that, which is cool, because, you get to see all his stuff from the 90s if you weren't alive at the time, or if, you were a fan at the time. It was kind of an exciting time in WCW, because the heel machine, that was the NWO, pretty much Goldberg was the baby face to, take them down until he hurt his hand or whatever. But I still don't think he deserves a title shot. Goldberg is like a, nostalgia act. He's basically for, the Royal Rumble is where he should be, not in a title match against Gunther. Whereas it just seems like that, is there nobody else that they have that they could, put in a title match against Gunther? That's on the current, that's a current star. Because it just feels like that, there's nobody else. And that's why they put Goldberg in that spot. I mean, yeah, I guess they want to close out the storyline or whatever, but it's, we could do without it. Rusev and Sheamus, that was a pretty good match. I enjoyed it. There's too many commercials, though, during that match, so I'm sure we missed a lot of good action. I'm glad that Rusev, beat him clean, put him over, because that's how it should be. I mean, Sheamus is should be putting people over at this point in his career. And then Karrion Kross attacks Sami Zayn, which I like, because I'm trying to start that hashtag push Cross going on. So if anybody else out there is a Karrion Kross fan, then they should hashtag push Cross, because he should get a push, because he deserves it. He's been on the sidelines forever, and they need to do something with him. Make him Killer Cross, whatever they need to do. But I would like to see him have more in-ring time and just be on TV more often, because he's an entertaining talent. And then Gunther hyping Saturday night's main event. Of course, Seth Rollins interrupts. I'm so sick of Seth Rollins and this fake evolution that they got going on with Paul Heyman. Punk kind of coming out kind of saved it, because, it's anytime and then LA Knight, anytime Seth Rollins gets his butt kicked, I like seeing that, because I was a fan of the Shield, and I like Seth Rollins, but the build that they're doing for him right now is kind of annoying, and he just, I don't know, him and his wife just need to go away. Which brings me to the Women's Intercontinental title picture. I don't even really care about that. I honestly didn't even watch the Lyra Bayley match. It just wasn't, I don't really care. And then it ended up in a draw, you know. It was just kind of like, you know, I just feel like it's a filler match. Give the women's Intercontinental title to somebody that you can build and push. Becky Lynch has had her time. Bayley's had her time. Instead of putting Roxanne Perez in the, you know, Judgment Day, maybe they should put her in the Intercontinental title picture or somebody else, because it's just ridiculous. Or bring somebody up from NXT, somebody else, because Bayley and Becky Lynch both should be putting people over at this point and not being the focal point in the storyline. That's just my opinion, but, you know, what do you guys think about that? I know there's a lot of people out there who love Becky Lynch and they love Bayley, but it's just starting to get old, man. You know, like, it's just, we need something else, something fresh, something new, something that they could build new characters and push the product in a positive direction, because otherwise you're just pushing the same. It's just week after week we're seeing the same people on TV, and, like, you know, I don't like that. They need to go back to, like, doing it the way they did in the 80s and doing pre-recorded comments. Keep champions and stuff like that off television. Maybe have them do pre-recorded comments, you know, come out every now and then, every once in a while, and then get their butts on the road to, like, do house shows. Because, you know, back in the day, Hogan used to sell all the house shows, but you never saw him on TV hardly doing pre-recorded comments, or they do a spot live with him, you know. But it was a draw. You know, that's how they got people to come to the shows. Now you're just putting all these guys on TV week after week, and it just gets old. Like, it's not, like, it's almost like you gotta miss them, you know, and then it'll be awesome again. Anyway, the Judgment Day trying to kick out Liv Morgan. Honestly, Dom, Raquel, and Liv should just leave the Judgment Day and go do their own thing, and either disband the Judgment Day or just make it be Roxanne Perez and, like, JD and Finn Balor. Or maybe get one other person with Finn Balor and JD McDonough. I don't know. They should have just kept Carlito, but they didn't renew Carlito's contract, so it is what it is. And the main event was a good match. Kind of turned out how I thought it would, pushing Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. Jey Uso with the save. Yeah, that was okay. You know, coming out saving Sami Zayn. You know, they just need, like I said, they just need to build a whole new bloodline. Like, make the bloodline whole. Like a New World Order, but only with the bloodline, Roman, all those guys. And just, you know, and do something, because everybody on their own is just kind of like mid-card, honestly. So, anyway, be sure you like and comment. Tell me what you think. You might be seeing it at something different than I do. Overall, I give this Raw probably like 3 stars. It was okay. You know, the Rusev match saved it. You know, a couple of segments saved it. You know, there's a few good things about it. But overall, I would like to see new talent. And remember to do that hashtag push cross. Because let's get Karrion Kross more TV time and all that stuff. But that's all I got for today. See you on the next one.
I go, my dog, I'm right here.